Hey, welcome to Bears Banter. Today on the broadcast, you have myself, Bernard Muhammad, Flournoy, Tammy Harris, and Guy Moore. And Jay may be able to join us shortly, maybe for a few minutes. Jay was at the game. The Chicago Bears fall to the Green Bay Packers, 24-14. This is a very frustrating game. Hey, also just joining us is Mike.
What's up, Mike?
What's up, Mike?
What's happening?
All right. Hey, you know what? Looking at that game, I wanted to bring up a stat before we kind of jump into this game itself. I was looking at a stat and I haven't heard anybody mention it. The Bears have played 6 games, and out of the 6 games, they have a problem that they had from last year. Their inability to do anything in the third quarter. Through 6 games, the Bears have only scored 10 points in the third quarters. That game was in grad stats. They scored 3 points in the third quarter against the Browns, and they scored 7 points in the third quarter against the Rams. Besides that, the other 4 games, the Bears have absolutely 0 points in the third quarter. With that said, what happened today? What happened?
Look at that. I'll go ahead and start, okay?
Okay.
Let me get this out the way. Filth, flarn, fracking tomfoolery. All right. That's me cussing when I'm on the radio.
Okay.
That was a pretty poor performance. We were actually in the game, even though from a score and a momentum standpoint, it didn't feel like we were in the game. Justin Fields made some rookie mistakes. He missed a couple open passes. The defense continued to have that same problem that has been our Achilles heel for the entire year, where we had bad tackling. Eddie Jackson is guilty of that as well. But not to harp on just one player. But it just seems like we were overmatched and we weren't ready to play against in the same league as the Green Bay Packers today. What do you think?
Okay. Hey, Tammy, what happened today? I know you pissed off.
That's better than being pissed off than pissed on.
My mind's telling me no.
Okay. This game was beyond frustrating. Justin Fields was definitely holding the ball too long, at times, but he is a rookie, so some of that is to be expected. The play calling was not stellar today. The defense with the missed tackles is ridiculous. I thought they were actually going to start off well because they seemed to be fired up initially in the first quarter, but it really just turned into a disappointing all-around performance. We did not play our best game today. However, in my opinion, Green Bay did not own us either, as somebody on my timeline said, because I don't think that they were that stellar either. Yes, they did enough to win, especially with the BS help of the referees. The bogus holding call when that called back our touchdown, some of the pass interference calls, them not calling multiple face mask calls that they just completely overlooked when it should have been to our benefit, and just the excessive ones that they called to the other side, some of them which were phantom ones at critical points in time, just really made this game harder to watch than it should have been, because it actually wasn't as bad as it felt like it was. So I'm doing my best to not curse like my granddaddy, but I really have a lot of words that I would really like to say right now.
Okay. Hey, I'd like to thank everybody who's watching us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch TV. Hey, before I go to Guy and Quick, I do want to bring this up, as Tammy just mentioned. The box scores for those who didn't see the game, the box scores were the first quarter, the Bears 7-0. Second quarter, the Packers picked up 10, so the score was 7-10 going to halftime. Third quarter, Packers pick up 7, and going into the fourth quarter, the final score ended up being 24-14. Hey, we want to go to Guy. Is your mic on mute, Guy?
It is not, man. I'm trying to go somewhere quiet, man. You know what? Green Bay Packers are rest haven for hoes. I see that's the only cussing I'm gonna do today. So,
okay.
But you know what? This is the first time that I would have to say in some years where I can actually feel like no matter how bad we did, we weren't out of the game. I mean, we could talk about the refs, we could talk about all that, but this is what happens when you have a team that's experienced go up against them. Because if you look at Green Bay, 4 to 5 wins that they got this year, 4 of those teams had a chance to beat them. And then they just got the brakes beat off of them like the first game or whatever. But I never felt like we couldn't get back in the game and win, especially when we got the second touchdown. But that's what happens when you play a veteran team, man. Unfortunately, I'm looking at my phone and it's about to die, man.
Okay.
So I might fall off. If I fall off, man, then I'm in Green Bay somewhere with my pistol.
Okay. Hey, Quick. Actually, have want to get the next question with you as well as this current question. But there was something that happened in the game, and I know your experience as a referee that I want to ask you before you ask this question. Justin Fields threw a play, and then basically it was I believe this was the play that was the interception. And in that play, what was interesting was I thought on the field they called that he was out of bounds, plus it was a pass interference. And then as they kind of talked through it, showed the replay, because the Bears originally declined the PI. And then I guess after they showed the replay, the Bears accepted the PI. But in my opinion, I thought what happened there was they called it out of bounds. This is why the Bears declined the penalty. Am I incorrect? So if they had called him out of bounds, I never saw a replay where Green Bay challenged that play to say he actually caught the ball in bounds. What did you see in that play, Mike?
All right, I'm trying to remember which play you're talking about because there was a couple of them. The one you talking about when he just threw the ball up?
He threw the ball. He threw the ball up. And they called
Green Bay intercepted the ball.
He intercepted the ball.
Okay.
And they said, because the question was, did he catch the ball in bounds?
Right.
They said he was out of bounds, but also there was a pass interference on the play. So initially the Bears rejected the pass interference.
I thought you were talking about, because I'm thinking you're talking about when the Bears thought they had a free play and he just threw the ball up in the air. So that the discrepancy was that they thought that there was going to be a encroachment on the defense, with the defense being in the neutral zone.
Not that play.
Okay, so that's a different play then.
This was the one where the Bears rejected the pass interference because it was right under. Because it was a question of what did he get his feet in bound. The time of the defensive player, or was it a pass? And matter of fact, I think take it back.
That was when the Packers had the ball and threw the ball, and the offensive guy created pass interference. And that was I know it's the one you're talking about now. Yeah, that's two different plays. So all right, what's the question?
Okay, so the question on that particular play was there was a discrepancy of pass interference versus that he got his feet in bounds for the play. So basically he did not. The Bears rejected the pass interference because they thought he was called out of bounds. So what they eventually did was the replay showed up on the board. So the Bears actually went on and accepted the penalty, but it seemed like because they called it out of bounds, there was never no challenge by Green Bay to dispute that the ball actually was caught in bounds, because the ball, they had reference on the field, the refs called the ball out of bounds.
Right. In the end, they actually got the play right, because they actually did say that he caught the ball in bounds, but then the Bears were able to take the pass interference call and back them up, because if they don't take the pass interference call, it's going to be a touchdown.
Right.
Now, did they actually come together and rule it was in bounds? Because at the initial of the play, they ruled him out of bounds, and that's why the Bears declined the penalty. I never saw them come together and rule that he was.
They had the TV. They had the TV on the white hat, and people just kept coming to him, and so I think he had the wrong information, and so the white hat, which is the referee that makes the call, he only can get the information because he's technically responsible for the quarterback. So he's responsible for he was responsible for Aaron Rodgers at that time. So making a ruling on the play, he can only go off of what the other officials tell him. Now, whatever that information is, so he probably got some bad information in the beginning, and that's why he made that call.
Okay. So thanks for that clarity. Hey, Mike, so what happened in this game?
I'm actually inspired by the Bears. I know we technically took the L, but I see a changing of the guard with a couple of different pieces. Justin's gonna make his mistakes, but he technically went toe to toe with Aaron Rodgers, who's considered one of the best in the game. So I feel inspired. This guy's on his way out, and like in the movie, there's a new sheriff in town, and his name is Reggie Hammond. Well, his name's gonna be Justin Fields, because they're not playing Justin Love, Aaron Rodgers back up, and the whole time I have been saying we need to play Justin Fields just to get this guy the experience, and you see flashes of him and what the future is gonna look like. So I'm excited. I know we took an L, but I'm not expecting us to win a lot of games anyway this year. You think about it, we were playing with the third string running back. We're playing with the third string running back. So the run game, even though he had some nice runs today too, but you're still missing Montgomery, you're missing Williams. You're playing with a half-cocked gun, So, like I said, I'm expired, man. I'm just like the next couple years we should be in Green Bay dancing on the G, like, yeah, now what's up,
Hey, Sharon on Facebook says those referees were on some BS.
Sharon, we don't talk about referees on this show.
We don't talk about
refs. Y'all earned it today. Y'all didn't get it today.
So what effect did the refs have on this game? On this refs playing this game today? I think what they played in this game was a lot of bad calls, in my opinion. I know they went both ways, but it was kind of like momentum killer type thing. But I think they went more so in favor of Green Bay than our way. Like you had that Fathom holding play. It looked like the defensive player was just happened to be trying to reach back and was just losing his balance, and they thought it was a holding. There was a couple of other plays that I thought were bad calls. Tammy, what effect you thought the referees played in this game?
Uh-oh.
I think the referees affected the momentum of the game, because at the time that they called certain penalties, it just took like the wind out of our sail when some good things happened. Every time something good happened, they found a BS reason to call it back or to pull it away. Like that touchdown we should have had. God, I can't even remember. I should have jotted these down. But there were so many just at critical times that even when we got something going, they broke up the spirit of the game. And referees, I get it. There are going to be some bad calls. They are not going to catch everything. I get it. I don't expect them to be infallible. However, they should not affect the outcome of the game to the degree that they did, in my opinion, because just some of those They're really, really, really bad calls. And it was one-sided.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Guy ended up falling off. His battery life was about 2%. Hey, Plank, what effect did the referees play in this game?
I thought the ref had a tremendous effect on the game. So there were a number of bad calls or no calls. So one where it was an encroachment on the defensive player, and Fields thought they had called it and just threw the ball in the end zone and ended up being intercepted. I'll live with that. There was another one where the defensive player caught the ball. He caught the interception, and he was actually ended up being ruled out. And third one was where the play you talked about before, where it would have resulted in a touchdown, but they called pass interference on the offensive player. They also made some bad calls. They made a personal foul call when Aaron Rodgers had been the instigator. But the truth is, anytime we see refs, they always catch the second act. So that's something that we need to know. And Edwards has got to do a much better job. That's 2 weeks in a row that he's been involved in some stuff that ended up hurting his team. So the referees did have negative effects on the game. But at the end of the day, you're in the game, and that's something that you're going to be up against. You got to be rise above it. So I'm a little upset right now, and I'm trying to get over it. And yes, we are. Daryl Renfrey, Sharon, Lavelle, we are reading your comments. Thank you for that. You're actually therapeutic from my perspective, helping me get over that, because I get really angry, especially when we play the Packers and we lose. So I'm trying to get through it, but I'm really, really angry right now. So.
Yeah.
And Justin Fields called a timeout that they didn't give him. That took us out of field goal range.
That was a huge play. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, because you know what? When that particular play happened, I want to say on the play I'm talking about, because they was trying to sort through that play. And then once they determined what the outcome was on that play, then I may be mixing the plays up, but I think it was part of that play. Then the next play, they ended up getting the delay of game, but it looked like he had called timeout in time. But Mike's the ref on this program, so Mike, I mean,
he's a good ref, though. He's a good ref.
Throw me under the bus.
Chill, but
I'm trying to help you, bro.
Under the bus, man. Hey, look, listen. I deal with this all the time because I'm a official supervisor, and y'all talking about the plays from this Bears game. I can send you some emails from this weekend, and you be like, the Bears got it easy. Okay, we got a team right here in the city who won't be able to participate in the city championship, state championship because of a bad call. Now, that was a bad call. Now, some of these other calls, like the encroachment that you talked about, just because the defensive player moved doesn't mean he encroaches the line of scrimmage. So you have to be looking straight down the line of scrimmage to tell if he's in the neutral zone or not. So just because he moves doesn't mean he's, we get that all the time. But some of the other calls, you're talking about judgment calls and things like that. And I'll just tell you this. Mario Edwards is on the list, right? So he can't even go to the bathroom and pee before the game because he's on the list, and we call it a SAM list. Sam starts stupid AMF. That's the Sam list.
Gotcha.
So when we do our homework on the game, we be like, who's the Sam on this team? Who's the Sam on this team? Oh, Sam's 97 on the Bears, the stupid AMF. Yeah, whatever he does stupid, we're gonna help him out. You always reward the idiot for doing idiotic stuff. So
yeah, look like he's trying to take Hicks' place on Don plays after
he's worse than Hicks, man. He's worse than Hicks. But I'm letting you know, in collegiate and in the NFL, there's a thing called the Sam. I'm telling you, we watch film and we say, who's the Sam? And I told you, stupid AMF. That's the Sam. And we always want to reward the Sam for his stupid plays. And he's on the list. I'm just I ain't even been in a meeting and know, especially 2 weeks in a row, next week when they meet, who's the Sam for the y'all can answer that question. You know what I'm saying? But there are some plays that, and you're talking about, think about this. In the NFL, why do they have instant replay? and these are the best of the best in the world. We don't have it in high school where you got John getting off from Church's Chicken trying to go referee a game. We got the best of the best in the world, and they got instant replay. And sometimes I believe that they rely on instant replay too much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's I mean, just to make a call, we could fix it if they, throw the red flag or whatever. That's not the human element of the game. So I'm never gonna say the refs affect the game. There are other
refs suck.
Hey, we mentioned
after
Mario
8 o'clock.
Edwards and we mentioned Hicks. I want to stray away from that for just a moment. I see Can You Fit Me In says Hicks is probably done for the next 4 games during a contract year. That's interesting because I actually saw something today, a story of a possibility of a Hicks trade. So I'm not sure if there's any validity to that. I want to say that was with the Chargers or something. Might have been the team that I saw conversation about a Hicks trade, and I know he's in a contract year.
Yeah,
but hey, let's go to something a little bit positive, and then we could just go and dump on our Bears. What did y'all think about Herbert's performance today? I thought Khalil Herbert played well today. He had 19 carries for 97 yards, 1 TD. I thought he saw the field well. I thought he made extra yards when there was not some yards there at times. I will say that Fields need to take those checks downs more often from Herbert. I knew one he might have like he dropped, but that was kind of a bad throw. But there are times where I saw Herbert wide open on plays that, it's okay to get 3 or 4 yards on second down on a pass play. You don't have to get 20, 15 yards on second down unless the situation calls for that. So I did see Herbert look open, but I thought he did a great job filling in for Montgomery. Hey, Mike, what do you think about Khalil Herbert's performance today?
Man, I think he did well. That's 2 weeks in a row. So he's making us forget about Tariq Cohen. I'll say that. It's time to try to make some decisions there in the end. But he actually played well. Going into the game, like I said, without Montgomery, without Williams, I'm like, ooh, man, we trying to figure out what we're gonna do, because one thing about Nagy is that he likes smaller type running backs, and so to take that pounding that that the NFL game brings is kind of, you almost need 2 guys, and so with him, I was just a little weary, but he did well. He played well and ran the ball exceptionally well, and he's not scared. That's the thing, man. Just running that, and if you get hit, just get up, get ready. The one time when they got down close to the end zone, it was like they were pulling him out, and he was like, "No, I'm good." And he was like, "Man, yeah, So that's the fire that you want to see in a guy. He was pissed, like, "Man, I just got us all the way down here. You about to take me out, man? We on the 2. I can score this." And give me another 65,000 in my contract, man.
Yeah, I do believe he gave the Bears the ability to cut back on plays and to run misdirections that they could exploit going forward. But as far as you mentioned Tariq Cohen, I actually put a Facebook question out there, I think Thursday or Friday, to see just a question to see if the Bears traded. Interesting enough, that poll, 36 people answered the poll. 18 people were in favor of Tariq Cohen being traded. 18 people were not in favor of Tariq Cohen being traded.
I just broke the tie. I just broke the tie.
Oh, did you break the tie?
I didn't vote then. I just broke the tie. He got to go.
So it was actually a tie. Hey, so Plank, what did you think about Khalil Herbert's performance?
Oh, I thought he did a great job. The young man, you can see that he has vision. He has speed. He wasn't afraid of the moment. He came out there and he competed. There's a couple times he did some really good cutbacks and he got big yardage. I think he looked really good. He's a great compliment to Montgomery whenever Montgomery comes back. So I'm looking forward to seeing how our running backs play for the rest of the year. As far as the rookie though, great job. I'll take him to war with me anytime.
Okay. Hey, I seen Jay trying to join the broadcast. It looked like he was having some difficulties. Hey, please try again, Jay, so we can add you in because we definitely need your opinion and also
Bernard,
you get a field view.
One comment.
Uh-huh.
Any ball that hits your hand, you're supposed to catch it. So we could always say it's a bad throw or the throw is off. If it hits you right in the hands, you can't throw the ball and catch the ball. So I don't necessarily put that one on fields. It wasn't the best throw, but it hits the receiver, a professional receiver in the hand. He's supposed to catch it.
Okay.
That's my 2 cents there.
Right. Hey, Tammy, what do you have on Khalil Herbert?
I think he did great. He stepped in and he stepped up. I know, he's the third string, but he didn't play like the third string. I think he did his job, and I would say he's a strong contender to have a very positive future, with the Bears if they keep him. He can get it done, and he proved he can get it done, even though he is a rookie and even though he's not our first string. He did an amazing job.
Okay, hey, we got our cheese head. I told her I'd bring her on if they won.
You should have brought her on if she lost. Don't just bring her on because they won.
Yeah, she would have probably been happy if they lost.
Oh, nutty,
Erica,
man.
Hey, that's your girl, quick.
I know I got to pick my friends better. Man, listen.
Bernard, relative to Tariq Cohen, it's really hard to trade an injured player. So other teams are looking at that as well, and they have to see whether or not he's going to come back successfully from that injury before anybody wants to invest any more time in him. They'll pick him up on a waiver wire or something like that if he gets cut loose, but they ain't going to trade for him. I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Okay. And the question wasn't so much that I want Tariq Cohen to be traded. I was just looking at how many running backs are you going to carry on the team, and if you're looking at the production you're kind of getting right now, and I know as far as cap space, he won't create much cap space if you move him, but it became a moot point in one sense with Montgomery being out, and you may need him back on, and Williams is on the COVID list. He can't come back until he actually get a positive test, but
negative test.
Yeah, negative test. But the way he's on the list, I believe that particular one works for when you get his test players, and in his situation, if he get a negative test, he could come back. If he was in another situation, I believe he would just be automatically out 10 games. Not 10 games, but 10 days.
10 days,
yeah, 10 days. So he actually has opportunity to come back quicker. Hey, well, how about
him and Kyrie on the same list? So,
hey, Mike, what do you think about Khalil Herbert? How you look today?
Oh, I went already.
You went already? Okay.
Yeah, I went already.
Hey, let's see what some of the Facebook users say. Oh, some more people talking about. Hey, what's up, American Mill? Thanks for joining us. Ryan Cox, Roger Cox actually mentioned something about Mario. Oh, what's his name? Mario.
He's getting away.
Mario Edwards.
He said at least getting away of somebody.
Another disappointing loss to the Packers today. The Bears fall 24-14. But unlike the last few years, this game did seem more competitive than some of the previous years. So that seemed to be some progress in that direction, because even in the fourth quarter, the Bears was not really out of the game, even though they kind of felt like they was out of the game in the third quarter, because right, like I mentioned earlier, the Bears have absolutely did nothing in the third quarter this season. They've only got about 10 points total in the third quarter. You got to do better than that offensively third quarter. But let's move over to Justin Fields. How did Justin Fields look to you, Tammy?
Well, he's still a rookie. He has got to learn when to throw the ball away. We took some lost yardage in places where we couldn't afford to take it. So that was disappointing. You know, sometimes you see him possibly trying to go for bigger plays that he's hoping will come together, but they don't. And so he just keeps holding onto the ball. And sometimes he gets lucky and he can, turn it into a play by using his legs. But he has to learn, especially in critical situations where we are in scoring position, to throw it away and give your field goal kicker. We have a great field goal kicker. Give him something he can work with, and don't take him out of range, because even getting those 3 points, I think it was 2 times that we could have and should have gotten it, that could have changed the momentum of the game to keep them fired up to come back despite all the other stuff that was going on. But sometimes you can start to feel deflated if you feel it slipping away from you. But sometimes you need to take the 3 and stay in the game and keep yourself in it. But I think he's still a rookie. He's still got stuff to learn. I'm still supportive of him, and I'm still patient with him. And I definitely think he is our future. He has got to learn when to let go of the ball.
Okay, Mike, what did you see out of Justin Fields today? He was 16 of 27, 174 yards, 1 TD, and 1 INT.
It's like that bracelet you have on WWJD. What would Justin do? So hey, look, I said at the beginning when we first started coming back with the show, you got to take the good with the bad with this kid. It's good to have him in there. You think some of the throws that he's making is amazing. He's able to escape the pocket when there's pressure. And you think about the alternative with Andy Dalton in there, things could be always worse. So you take the silver lining. I also said and wanted pushing for him to start is that it's going to be this is his first year. I mean, the guy's only started 3 or 4 games in the NFL.
Right.
We're expecting him to come out and be a world beater. You look at Trevor Lawrence, who's the number 1 pick. I mean, he's got a trash team too, but they just won their first game today. So right. It's going to be some growing pains throughout the year. That's what I said. I just looked at this guy just go head to head with Green Bay and had some production. Of course, he had some mistakes as well, but the future looks bright up here at Soldier Field. I'm just saying, I might have to have. Hey Jay, how much them season tickets, man? I might need to give me some season tickets, bro. and like I said, this kid is gonna make some mistakes, but the future looks bright, man. I'm sorry.
But just because we say what he didn't do well doesn't mean we expect him to be perfect. Like,
I'm saying I'm not talking about on the show, but you go on Facebook where we supposed to have done. You be like, bro, stop it. Just stop.
Right.
Stop right now.
Yeah, I thought he made some good. I thought he made some good throws. That and he came alive to me in the fourth quarter and gave us hope that he could get back in that game. And of course, with a rookie quarterback, you are going to have some mistakes. This is what I do want the Bears coaching staff to do, and maybe they're actually causing this, is let him play. Because it still seems to be, when I watched him in college, he knew when he wanted to run the ball. When he rolled out, he knew when he wanted to run. I know in the pros, coaches tend to overcoach players, mobile quarterbacks, and want them to always look down the field. There are times when just run the ball, where he's still hesitating to run. Some of those plays, if he take off a second early, he does not get sacked or he does not get tripped up. He could probably make it farther. And also, I would just say, knowing the situation, but that's still coaching. You got to let your rookie quarterback know when you're in field goal range. And guess what? When you're in field goal range, maybe with a rookie quarterback, you just gonna run the ball to make sure you secure the field goal. Or you roll them out, and you take the dump down to the tight end just to move you closer. You get a first. Great job. Hey, what you want to share with us today? I know you got a whole lot to catch up with. Right now.
The game was winnable. It was definitely winnable. I thought Laser got away from what he had been doing. You know, they was running the ball, and then we just said on our way from Soldier Field, we was just saying like, what happened to the second and the third quarter? It just like disappeared. It was like Laser just got away from what he was calling in the first quarter. Herbert could have ran for $150 today, but they got away from the run. And when you're a team that's struggling to score points with a rookie quarterback, you gotta stay consistent with the run game. And they didn't do that today. So, you know, it is what it is. I just hate it because when I tell you, it was so many damn Green Bay fans at this game. It was so many Green Bay fans at this game, man. And they walked out.
It's gonna turn around, Jay. It's about to turn around, though.
You know what? It's
about to turn around.
It is gonna turn around. It's definitely gonna turn around. I seen some positive things today. Justin Fields made a couple of mistakes that I thought that was that's correctable. But at the same time, you know, we still in this shell where we just can't beat Green Bay.
Let me share this one last thing too, because we were talking about something. They have to remember that he's a rookie quarterback as well. That last sack that he took, Justin is intelligent enough. You have to send that play in and say, you cannot get sacked.
You cannot take this sack.
Cannot get sacked. No matter what, you cannot get sacked. Throw the ball away.
Because
and I'm sure that's coaching.
Because the bottom line is too, that play took them out of field goal range.
That was the game. That was the game. That's coaching.
Had they got some positive yardage on that play or no yardage at all, kick the field goal, and now you're down by a touchdown. So you don't know what's gonna happen with that. But that was definitely Mike. That was definitely the play of the game where he took.
You have to remind him because he is a rookie, and when you're in a competitive mindset, that's why coaches are there. You in a competitive mindset, you may not even be thinking. You're thinking about winning the ball game. You ain't thinking about the intangibles of it. You got to remind him of that. And I'm sure if somebody probably would have reminded him that, he wouldn't have took that sack. He's intelligent enough not to take that sack.
I agree.
Hey, I'd like to thank everybody who's watching us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch TV. And please share your comments so we could get them online before we get to the end. Hey, I just want to say,
the comment that just came up, the O-line did a pretty good job today, so that wasn't really on them. Everybody keeps saying, the O-line, we got to pay for a better one. Yes, we do need some support there, but the O-line did a good job today.
Yeah, I didn't get to go either. As far as Justin Fields, I think he did a good job today. To everybody's point, Mike, Tammy, as well as Jay, that's coaching. Somebody has to be in his ear and let him know what the situation is each time. Hey, we in field goal range. Make sure you don't take a sack. Okay, all you need is two yards for a first down. So that's more on the offensive coordinator. I think I like the fact that he was driving the ball down the field. A couple times it worked to our detriment because he didn't have anybody to release the ball to. But he looked for a long throw. He was accurate on many of those throws. So I'm exactly with the rest of us. Everybody, I think the arrow is definitely looking up for Justin Fields. One last thing about it to talk about some of the comments. We talked about Justin Fields is holding the ball too long. Think about this. 3 weeks ago, when we got beat up by Cleveland like that, nobody thought he could hold the ball too long. So the offensive line is actually coming pretty well, as far as what we're doing. So that's my 2 cents.
And Bernard, real quick, I do want to say this. I've been watching football for a long time. This was one of the worst officiated games.
Oh my God! Tell Mike again.
And is not Mike. I'm gonna tell you. This is not me being a homer, but I'm gonna tell you something. This was one of the worst officiated games that I've seen in a long time. And it started when they jumped off, when Green Bay jumped off sides and they didn't give us that penalty. That's when it started. And it snowballed.
I'm kind of with Mike on that one. Just because the defensive player moves doesn't mean he jumped off sides.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you again. This is one of the worst officiated games I've seen in a long
See,
time.
here we go.
And
Man.
I'm not a person that get on officials and you know and all like that. But today was bad. Today was bad. Today was bad.
What you have, Tammy?
Oh no, I win as far as Justin Fields' performance, but I'm just agreeing with Jay. I think it was horrible, and I think referees are not infallible. They are going to make some mistakes, but when it gets to the point where it impacts the outcome of the game, then you're doing a really bad job.
Okay. Hey, let's move to play calling. Play calling has been brought up a lot. How was the
get you one, and then we can talk about the referees. Get one.
I don't give a filth flying blah. It is what it is.
How was the play calling today by the Bears?
Spade. They sucked. Own it.
How was the play calling today by the Bears? I thought it started off well. And you know what? This is one of the problems I think I do have with the Bears this year. If the Bears drive on that first or second drive, I don't know why it seems like the Bears play calling drastically changed, where they seem to go away from what was working. And now we want to, I know it's the scripted plays, but go with what's working if it worked and got you to a score. So I thought the play calling today was not good enough to win this game. It was good enough to keep them in the game, but it was not good enough to win this game. And you have to be able to adjust, because last week we said the same thing. And like I said, I pointed out earlier, when you go to the locker room at halftime, there's no reason you should come back out the third quarter and you play worse offensively than you played in the second quarter. You should see improvement from a team once you come out of your halftime break. So I would say the play calling, not saying the play calling made the Bears lose today. I thought the play calling was not good enough to beat the Packers, because the Packers, when we get to the defensive side, I don't know what Devontae Adams' stats was, but he was not the factor that I thought he was going to be in this game. So the Bears were in this game. But Jay, you had a better view of the full field. How was the play calling to you?
Again, they didn't stick to what was working. They didn't stick to what was working, and what was working was the running game. And I don't know, for some reason, halfway through that second quarter, they got pass happy. And even in coming out of no halftime adjustments. They didn't, and we received the ball coming out of halftime. So it's like, okay, let's establish what we did in the first half to make this a game. This game was so winnable, but I just thought they got away from what was working, and what was working was the running game. I mean, Green Bay was giving up 4.3 yards to carry. At one point, we was laughing. We was looking at the scoreboard. Herbert was averaging like 8.4 yards to carry. I mean, granted, he had one big run, but he was averaging his average was like 8.4 yards. And they just got away from what was working. And that was the detriment of the offense today.
Hey,
Jay,
Bernard, 1 second. I just want to let everybody know we got the world champion Chicago Sky just won the WNBA championship this year. So give it up to the ladies.
Yeah.
Great job. Congratulations, Chicago Sky, on the championship today. Hey, Jay, you made me think about something when you was talking. The Bears got to the goal line and they decided to make a trip set and throw a ball to Cole Kmet when it was obvious that this was going to be an easy 1 or 2 yard run by Herbert. But they complicated by being too cute on that play, which actually I think they lost a yard or two on that play. But Plank, what did you see in the play calling today?
I thought the first 15 scripted plays were okay for the beginning of the game, but we didn't evolve. We got Cole Kmet more involved today. I think that's more a tribute to Justin Fields than it is the coaching. But for some reason, it's like they trying to force feed Cole Kmet to being something that he's not. I don't see him being a game changer right now, and they're trying to give him plays to make him look better than he is. So from a play calling perspective, I didn't like it. Also, as I mentioned before, there were a couple of plays at the end of the game where all the receivers were a good 20 yards down the field, and Justin Fields didn't even have anybody to release it to. That's why a lot of times he was holding the ball too long. So that's a direct point against the play calling today.
Okay, Tammy.
What you got, Jay? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Wait, was Jay gonna say something?
I think so.
No, I was just gonna say, even the touchdown to Mooney late in the game, Justin Fields held that ball so long. Yeah. And we was like, what are you waiting on? Throw the football. Throw the football. So, him being a rookie, and we expect so much, but him being a rookie, we got to live with the rookie mistakes. And he had some mistakes today, but he is holding the ball too long. He's holding the ball exactly. He's holding the ball too long.
You think some of that might have something to do with him not practicing with the first team the entire training camp?
But you know what? Guess what? Training camp over. Training camp over, Plank. Training camp is over, Plank. Hey, if you're a baller, if you're a professional, training camp is over. These last 3 weeks, he's been practicing with the ones. You got to get it together.
As far as him coming out of Ohio State, I only had one criticism of Justin Fields. And my only criticism of him at Ohio State was I thought he held on the ball too long at Ohio State. Now, some of the people's argument was that they ran a lot of deeper routes, so he had good blocking. But that was my only criticism. Everything else I loved about him, but I did constantly say he holds onto the ball too long, even at Ohio State. But that's here or there now because, hey, like Jay said, hey, he got to let it go. You're in the pros. It's not training camp. Let it fly.
Big boy pants, right?
Yeah, the knock on Justin coming out was that. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, I was gonna say the knock on Justin going out was that he did hold the ball too long, but they only ran one receiver routes at Ohio State. So the knock on him coming out was that he couldn't go through his check down progressions fast enough, and that's one thing that he still has to work on, and that's probably why he's still holding the ball too long, trying to figure out, his progressions. All right, I'm done.
Okay, that's a valid point because that's why you would miss a check down play at times because while you're reading your progressions pretty slow. And in the NFL, you only have a few minutes to work your way through your progression, but it's more time you figure that out. But the positive is he's getting enough time to go through progressions.
Yep.
Hey, Tammy.
So, Laser is my guy, but the play calling today was definitely disappointing. It started out well. I agree with Jay. The second and third quarter were painful, to watch. I don't know why we got away from what was working. I completely agree, with Jay right there. Herbert could have had an amazing game today. He was fired up and he was making it happen. I don't know if I know Bill Lazor is doing the play calling, but I really do wonder how much influence Nagy is still exerting on the back end. Because some of the play calling does not necessarily look the same way that it looked last year when we really did know that it was Lazor. So I just feel like some of the play calling was predictable, some of it was safe, and there seemed to be a lack of a true game plan today, unlike the first game Lazor called. So I really hope that he has the autonomy to call the game and plan the game the way that he needs to as an offensive coordinator. And if Nagy is trying to exert some authority, I'm hoping that behind the scenes he steps up and kind of talks him out of it to say, well, this is why we need to do this. So I'm kind of hoping he has the backbone to do that. But right now, some of the play calling just still seems a little too questionable. It's better, but questionable.
There was a couple of plays. There was a couple of plays in this game where we looked at, we was like, okay, you know what? Nagy called that. That
and he had a play sheet in his hand too.
We was like, Nagy called this play. I think it was like, if I'm not mistaken, it was like a shovel pass or something that wound up going for no yardage on the goal. You know what? It was called on the goal line before the Herbert touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
The ball right before the Herbert touchdown. We was like, line up and run the ball, and they ran something real cute, and they wind up losing a yard. We was like, that's a Nagy play right there.
Yeah, that looked like a Nagy play. Hey, real quick, let's get some scores on the offense, and let's move on over to the defense. Offense, C-. What'd you got, Tammy? Offense, as far as grade.
I'll give him a C-.
Okay, Plank.
I give him a C.
A C. Jay.
C-.
C-. Hey, Mike. Look like Mike froze. What you get as far as offense?
Well, I mean, you can only really give him a C because of it's stagnant. So it's C work.
Yeah, that's C work. Yeah, NFL, you need at least 17 points in an NFL game to even be in the conversation of a win, and that means your defense have to play lights out at that point. If you only get
exactly right,
if you get 17.
Somebody made a comment earlier on here that made a lot of sense. Where the defense has to play almost back to Lovie Smith days where they were making turnovers and scoring, because our offense is not set up to score. I think they said 24 to 30 points a game, and that makes perfect sense. You remember when we were having turnovers and things like that?
Good call.
We were winning a lot of ball games, and our offense is only set up to maybe score 17 to 20 points at best each game.
Yeah, the actual comment is for those who just listening and not actually being able to view on the show, the Bears defense has to be like Lovie's D and score. The offense isn't on the level to be a weekly 24 to 30 point scoring team. Exactly. Hey, let's go to the bragging rights. Bragging rights. None of us gained any ground today. Guys 4-2, Jay 4-2. I'm 3-3. Plank 3-3. Quick 3-3, and Tammy 3-3. No game. Nobody
Quick fell off quick though, haven't he? Quick then dropped 3 in a row now.
Every time I go for the Bears, they lose. Every time I go against the Bears, they win.
That's a lie. Because the first 2 losses you got, we won. So that's a lie.
No.
Yes. You picked the Raiders.
I picked for Cleveland.
You picked the Raiders. And who do we? And you picked the Lions. Those were your first.
No, I never would pick the Lions.
Yeah,
no, I did not. I wouldn't pick the Lions to go pee in the woods. Never.
Bernard.
No, I picked the Browns.
The Lions were your first loss.
No.
Yeah, you did.
No.
Yeah, you did.
No, I did not. That's one of my wins, Tammy.
No,
that's not. No.
Bernard,
hey, I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna check the sheet.
We got Jay.
I'm gonna check the sheet. Hey, I'm sorry, guy wasn't able to stay on today. His battery life was sabotaged by the Green Bay Packers.
That's what we gonna say. Okay.
Right. Hey, let's go over to the defensive side of the ball, and let's start off with Plank, our defensive guru. How do you grade the Bears' defense today, and how did they play today?
It's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers didn't really go crazy today, but he was more than good enough to come out with a W. We put some good pressure on him early in the first half. Matt got a sack. Quinn, man, he earned his money now. Got a sack and a good tackle for loss, so he's doing a good job. And Roquan Smith is a stalwart. From a defensive backfield, these guys missed too many tackles. Oh, my God. It's like they're cowards. Tashawn Gibson's out there not, making business decisions. And I saw Eddie Jackson also out there missing tackles. So I'm going to give the defense a C today. You know what? I'm gonna give them a C minus because we got to step up and do much better than that, especially for a rivalry game.
Okay, playing get a defense. You said D?
A C minus.
A C minus. Hey, let's go with our other defensive guy, Mike. How do you grade the defense, and what did you see from them today?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna say I ain't never picked no damn Detroit Lions to win.
Yes, you did.
Hell no.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, the Bears. First of all, you don't pick against the team. The Bears own the dude that's the quarterback at in Detroit now. Even when he was with the Rams, they were smacking him around. And now he with Detroit playing with such and such and nobody. No. Anyway, back to what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted. I grade the I actually give the defense a B minus because they came out, they had an aggressive game plan, they controlled the game in the first couple of quarters, and we have to consider, and it goes back to the play calling. You run the ball, you keep your defense off the field, getting a little rest and things like that. You start trying to stretch the field and throwing all these long. It was that one play when they showed the play when he took the last sack. Everybody was like 30 yards down the field. He didn't have enough time for all of that. And some of those plays get to be like that where they're not, cognizant of down and distance and things like that. So it makes no sense. But the defense, to me, I give them a B minus, man. You talking about trying to they should have been doubling Adams the whole time, though.
That's what you said. It
should have been doubling. You double him, and who else do they have that's him? That's his security blanket. You take him away.
He really didn't have that great of a game against us, just in
he didn't, but he had them. He just had them one or two key catches in a moment. That's a momentum breaker.
He's gonna get those, man.
You got to take them away. You got to hold them, trip them, kick them. Bet on Detroit, like Tammy said, something idiotic. You got to do something. You just got to do something crazy and keep that guy from catching the ball.
Hey Jay, what about you?
You need to stop drinking over there too.
What you got, Jay?
I actually get a defensive B today because I really think they played really well. I mean, Green Bay went into halftime, and I want to say Rodgers didn't even have 100 yards passing. They had one first down conversion. One. I think there was 1 of 4 on first down on third down conversions in the first half. The defense really played well. Like I said, again, I don't know what happened coming out at halftime. We got the ball and we didn't score, but the defense played well. Robert Quinn continues to ascend. Khalil Mack is doing his thing. Our secondary, Jalen Johnson, as much as I like him, he still got a lot to learn. Our safeties are just horrible.
It's the second year.
Horrible.
Our safeties are horrible. Eddie Jackson, it's Sean Gibson. They're horrible. And I don't know what it's going to take for those guys to get whipped back into shape. But our safety play is going to be the detriment of our defense.
Okay, Jay. Tammy, I know you hard on the defense like I am. What do you say, Tammy?
Yeah, I'm hard on the defense. I'm sorry they get a C. And I don't think they did a great job. I think the first half, they played pretty well. We got a couple of sacks, Mac did, and we were putting pressure in the first half of the game. But I'm sorry, the second half of the game, the defense just they to me, I'm sorry, they weren't there. Too many missed tackles. Jalen Johnson, I'm sorry, I know it's Devontae Adams, but to me, he was just playing too far off of him. I know you're gonna get burnt sometimes, but sometimes he was just too far off of him. The play where Rodgers got the touchdown, I don't know what Ogletree was waiting for. Like, you were waiting for him to come in the end zone. Why didn't you go after him? I mean, Aaron Rodgers is not, this big whatever guy that you need to be afraid of. You just let him come and then you go after him. I don't understand what he was waiting for. To me, the defense was at times waiting too much for players to come to them instead of going after them and letting them get yardage that they shouldn't have been getting. And too many missed tackles, and Eddie Jackson just needs to be sat down. Y'all got to pay him anyway. See if the person behind him want to play. and see what they got, because he's giving you nothing.
I agree.
I'm sorry. I'm hard on the defense. I think they started off well, but the second half, I don't think they were great.
Hey, Tammy, I'm going to agree with you on this. I'm gonna break it in halves. The Bears get an A defensively in the first half. The second half, even though some of it was because of the ineffectiveness of the offense, they get almost a D in the second half for their inability to tackle, and more so as the secondary, standing flat-footed, waiting on guys to come to them. And what the Green Bay Packers did the second half was they adjusted to the Bears pass rush, because the pass rush was tremendous the first half. But the second half, Green Bay adjusted to it. They started doing it late in the second quarter. They started running the ball. And too many Bears players was literally riding on the running back's back, standing there flat-footed, waiting on tackles. Eddie Jackson is totally useless in these situations. So my overall grade is, just as I gave the offense, a C-. It would be better if they were tackling better, and the Bears got to improve in the run, stopping the run. You got to do better at stopping the run, because Green Bay, as much as good as the Bears pass rush was today, Green Bay actually showed that you can run on the Bears. So the Bears got to fix that, but some of that is the secondary. Your safety's got to come up and make those tackles. You can't come up there and, just like Lemonhead said on our show Friday, guys playing like they're scared. That's exactly a few plays I was like, he was right. That guy looked like he just scared to tackle him. That's all it looked like to me. So
I agree with you.
Okay. Hey, so let's move to the final thing as far as coaching. What are your grades on the coaching today? Mike, what you got?
Oh no. Man, you know what's crazy? I'm in this doctoral program, and I done all this, got all these degrees, and you finally stumped me with a question. I don't know. I think we did. As I said earlier, I don't think this ain't one of them Green Bay losses where you like cut your phone off, hide off your Facebook for a couple of days and all that. This ain't one of them. So I'll be talking trash to Erica all week, because we're going to whoop their butt in the next couple of years. But this ain't one of them. We were in the game till like the last 4 minutes of the game. Normally at halftime, you like, I'm cutting this off, man. I'm going to go watch golf or Tiger or something else on, Murder, She Wrote or something. Man, so
stop it, Erica.
So I would say a C. We didn't get the win. We had a good game plan starting out, but we just didn't finish the game. So, you had an A in the first quarter, and it just went downhill from there. So I say a C. We just got to get better in closing out games. Get rid of just to your point about Eddie Jackson, I laughed so hard when he made that one play on the Packers sideline and got up doing this. I was like, man, if you don't stop that, because every time you around, they doing this. He like, yeah, him right there. Employee number 4. You know how like at your company you got your employee ID number. We shouldn't call him by name no more. Employee number 4. That's his handle from now on for me.
Hey, what's up, Kofi? Said disappointing game. Kofi said looked like Aaron Rodgers owns us. So sad. Hey, Jay, how you grade the coaching today, Jay?
I give him a C as well. I'm one of the people that don't put a lot on coaching, because the bottom line is you coach and your players have to execute. And in the first half, they did a lot of executing. It was a lot of good play calling, but in the second half, they just didn't execute. The Bears didn't execute. Special teams played well. I'm still waiting on Jaheim Grant to break one. He's going to break one sooner or later on special teams. But overall, with the coaching, I have to give him a C because the side did a lot in that first half where they got pressure on the quarterback and, they were able to get the Rodgers. And we didn't give up a ton of yardage. So I would have to give him a C.
Okay, you give him a C. Tammy, how do you grade the coaching?
I'll give them a C too, and people gonna have to get off of this. They owned us. Well, I don't know what they were watching. They didn't own us. This wasn't.
Tammy, they own us. They own us.
They didn't own us. They didn't own us because this wasn't an embarrassing game. They won, yes, but this is. I mean, I agree with Mike on this part, but
what?
This was not a game where you don't see where we are. We see what we are going to become. This is not a game where you had to hold your head down and be like, This was a game that had some mishaps. This was a game that was unfairly called. This was a game where the play calling in some places could have been better. And this is a call where in some places the defense needed to step up. But you weren't like devastated like the whole time. It was disappointing, and trust me, I'm pissed. But Green Bay was not stellar. They didn't have like this blowout game where they just like, oh my God, they kicked our butt. They got a couple of breaks and some help from the refs because they shouldn't have had. So, in my opinion, I mean, the coaches in the first half were really good. The game plan, if they had one, fell apart a bit in the second half. And so, but in the very near future, like I said earlier in the week in one of my posts, I was like, I said, if for some reason we lost this game, just know that the tide is turning. And I still 1000% believe that the tide is turning.
Okay. Hey, Plank, how do you grade the coaching?
Well, basically, let me make a couple comments. As far as the offensive coaches, the first half, great job playing bully ball. We had those offensive linemen coming off the ball, hitting people in the mouth, playing good, aggressive defense. Offensive line looks much, much better. Us talking about Justin Fields is holding the ball too long. That's because the offensive line, in many cases, is allowing him to hold the ball that long. However, from an offensive coach's standpoint, we are not able to stay with our identity. That identity of bully ball and running the ball. Then we try to get away from it and do some cute things. So that's definitely brings the grade down. From a defensive standpoint, we have to win third down. There's too many times out there where we got these guys at 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 5, and we lost that. In my opinion, that's what lost the game. So overall, I'm giving the coaches a C.
Okay,
both offensive and defenses. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I get it. I get a coaching overall a C as well. It could be better. Next week we're playing who? Tampa Bay.
Tom Brady,
which Mike called the Tom Brady invitation.
Jefferson, Johnny, Bully, Esmeralda Brady, or whatever.
Well, we come off another disappointing loss to Green Bay. And maybe we face them again later on this year. We'll be able to get that victory from them. And also for those who did not see Friday's show, I'm asking you to go back and look at that show when we brought on former Chicago Bears player Lemuel Stinson, who stayed on for an hour, and he talked about the Bears and Packers rivalry. Great show. He gave some breakdown of how defensive backs play today. It's a real great show. So if you missed Friday's show, please go back and watch Friday's show. Hey, do anybody else got anything before we wrap up today's show? Anything? Nothing at all?
Just a disappointing loss. But we'll bounce back. Tammy and Mike talk about the future, but as a Bears fan, I look at the now, but I do understand the future. So it's a disappointing loss. Hopefully we can bounce back. Next week we got a brutal schedule coming up. Right now. So we'll see what happens. we'll see what happens.
Okay, great point. So, like, thank everybody who's watching us today on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch TV. As we had a disappointing loss today, Chicago Bears fall to the Green Bay Whackers 24-14. Until Friday, we'll see you again and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.